Okay, hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. And today we are talking about a really exciting topic, moving to Dubai. Now, with many of what's happening in the world today, taxes, and people just wanting um to work internationally, Dubai comes up quite a bit. I know that I've had quite a few candidates of mine just talk to me about, oh, I'd like resources around moving to Dubai. So I thought I'd pull in someone that lives in Dubai, understands Dubai, knows it, and to answer some of our questions. Now, I jumped straight in, but if you're watching this for the first time, my name is Ladijia. I'm a career transition consultant, and I have these talks every other week. I pick, I talk to interesting people, right, who are either going through transitions themselves or have successfully done a transition or work in the transition or hiring space. Today, we're speaking to my lovely colleague, Angela Gonzalez. Angela is a Dubai specialist as far as I'm concerned. I will get her to tell you a bit more about herself. And as I said, we want to talk about the realities, not the adverts, the realities of working in Dubai. Welcome, Angela. Please introduce yourself.
Pleasure, Ladi. Thank you very much for having me. So I'm Angela. I work as a career transition consultant currently based in Dubai. I'm an HR people professional with background in psychology and recruitment. So I've been leading recruitment previously in unicorn SaaS companies, and I have also worked in tech and in the airline industry. And even though I'm currently not working in recruitment anymore, I have recruited in the main European markets, US, LATAM, and also here in the UAE. So I'm aware of the differences between those job markets. And in total, I have over 6 years of experience in the UAE market. And I have done the relocation myself recently. So I have everything very fresh in my mind. So I hope I can add some value to the attendees today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for doing this with me. We have someone joining us from Canada. I can't see your name, but hello. Hello, please feel free to drop in any questions that you have. But let's jump in with first one of my own questions. And it's really, what was the what was the defining moment for you um when you when you decided that you were going to relocate to um, Dubai, right? What was the defining moment, and how did you know it was the right move?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to give you a little bit of context, I first moved to Dubai in 2015 to work for Emirates Airlines. So that was my first exposure to this vibrant and multicultural city. And after moving back to Spain during COVID, I kept visiting Dubai almost every year for vacation. And I saw how much it had evolved, like more green areas, it was more walkable. And I started comparing how safe I feel here as a woman, especially compared to Barcelona, where I was living. So the main deciding factors for me were finding the right job opportunity that allowed me to evolve and kind of continue my career in the direction that I was looking for, paired with the safety, lifestyle, and the convenience that Dubai has to offer. So yeah, for me, this city offers a rare mix of opportunity, safety, and energy that is difficult to find anywhere else.
Okay, all right. Sounds um sounds like heaven almost. um, it moves me. That makes me think of the next question. We'd like to move, and I'm sure we would all like to move, but how do you find a job in Dubai? It's important to, well, from where I'm sitting, to have the job before you move there, right? So, I mean, for the professionals who are trying to find a role in Dubai from abroad, what works and what doesn't work, right? When applying or networking to go into the Dubai market or the UAE market.
Just to talk about my own experience, I have had three different roles here in the UAE. The first one, I got it because the company itself was recruiting in my city back home in Spain. The second one, I got it because of an internal recommendation. So it was a kind of like an internal career move inside that same company. And this third one, I got it because of my network, someone that was working here and also recommended me for the role. In general, the job market has changed a lot since I moved here first in 2015. So now the job market in Dubai is very, very saturated. Dubai's population has doubled in recent years. Now it's near 4 million.
Wow.
And so you have to consider that the majority of the population here, approximately 40%, are between the years of 25 and 54. So basically here, people are here to work and to make money. So the competition is very, very high. Employers also prioritize candidates already based in the UAE with UAE or GCC experience, because of course, like having work in recruitment is lower risk for them, because like people always change their mind last minute, and maybe they think, okay, maybe it's not the right move for me to go to Dubai, and I will just rather play it safe and keep it, just stay in my
Mm,
home country.
mm,
So yeah, this is kind of like some of the cons, right? That if you don't have the UAE experience and you are not located here, it might be a little bit more difficult for you to land a role. However, there are some things and some tips to overcome that. So
yes,
the
please.
first thing that I would recommend is to make it crystal clear in your CV that you are open to relocating quickly and for the long term. So you can put that below your name, for example, like you just put the existing location, no need to lie, but you say that you are open to relocating to Dubai on a short notice. Highlight as well in your resume and LinkedIn profile any exposure to GCC clients, context, cultural awareness about the region if you haven't lived here before, because this will also add bonus points. Also, if you have any network here already working on ground, please leverage it. Let them know that you are looking for a move, because trust and warm introductions have big influence here. Also, I would say be strategic with your job search. Don't spray and pray and just start applying everywhere. Just build a focus list of 20 to 30 target employers or companies based on your industry and experience. Because if you are trying to move here and you are applying to industries that you don't have experience with, or like different jobs or job titles, and it's going to be like a lot of change, and this will not benefit your job search.
Mm,
And then also, like in terms of networking here, what it works, build relationships before asking for roles. Try to just not pitch right away, because building trust here takes some time. So just don't expect instant results when you are reaching out to someone on LinkedIn. Try to build the connection first, getting kind of curious about their experience here and the type of company they are working for, their own journey, and then only then you might ask for a recommendation or referral.
mm, mm. Okay. All right. Very interested. Used a term that I'm not quite familiar with. What's GCC?
Yeah, so sorry. So this is the whole Gulf region. So that
Ah,
is UAE, Saudi, Kuwait, Bahrain, and all the Gulf countries.
okay. Okay. And what's coming through from what you're saying is that, the cultural nuances and being able to plug into the culture is also important to the employers as well. And like if we just go through, I mean, what you've highlighted, it's get focused target lists, warm introductions really work. And it sounds like um, seeing opportunities and being considered for opportunities is quite relationship driven, and there's some concern around culture and being able to adjust. You also mentioned that people should be upfront and open on their CVs about being willing to relocate immediately and for the long term, right?
Mhm.
So my next question, I will come back to jobs, or maybe we should do the jobs one and then go to money, but
Mhm.
still around jobs. Where, so you've said the market is quite saturated. I hear you, but
Mhm.
where are the opportunities? Every
Mhm.
market, even when saturated, would have, the roles that are moving or the needs. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Here, most of the roles are always available on LinkedIn. Even though before, previously, there was like a lot of like external recruitment agencies, which still are, and headhunters that were representing clients. Now, most of the companies here in the region, they have their internal recruitment teams or talent acquisition teams. So they always post their vacancies on LinkedIn, and they source for candidates on LinkedIn as well. So of course, like if LinkedIn breaks down tomorrow, all the recruiters here will be in big trouble. Um, yeah, even though of course, like if you are looking for a C-level role or so, maybe those types of very senior positions don't even get advertised, and they are kind of filled through networking. But I would say
Mm,
for the majority of roles, they are posted online.
okay. All right.
Mhm.
Um, let's talk about money now, right? And
Mhm.
I've heard this a lot. How, I mean, yes, it's tax free for some people, but that the cost of living are interesting. So, what do people often misunderstand, right,
Mhm.
about salary packages and cost of living in Dubai? What should people check
Mhm.
before saying yes to an offer?
Yeah, that's an excellent question because I would say that Dubai today is not 2010, where employers were throwing big packages with a lot of benefits and so on. Salaries haven't kept up with the rising cost of living here. Just to give you an example, rent has doubled approximately since I moved here from 2015 to 2020. And tax free, even though that, of course, this is very beneficial. There's 0% income tax in your salary. So everything that you earn goes straight to your pocket, but tax free doesn't mean cheap. There's still VAT and there are still a lot of service fees. That is what they are called here, that they are applying, that they apply everywhere. So
Mm,
I would say if you are coming from a strong European market where you are already getting a good salary, remember that you are not moving to live worse here. So do your research properly. Also, like something a peculiarity about this market is that companies here might ask for proof of previous salary, even if you are abroad and you are like kind of working in different markets. So of course you can choose to not disclose this information, but don't be shocked if they request for it because this is quite common. So yeah, run the numbers, calculate the rent, groceries, any hobbies that you will have, and how much they would cost here. Travel, and also your saving rate, because of course, if you are moving to a zero tax country, is also to potentially save some money and yeah, work on your future. So yeah, something also to keep in mind in kind of the legal part is that employers must pay for your visa sponsorship and for your basic health insurance. So just
okay.
don't get to any kind of type of situation where they ask you to pay for your visa because yeah, they are
So
obliged
that's a
to.
red flag, right? The company asking you to pay for
Mhm.
your own visa fees.
Mhm.
That's a red flag. And I'm just wondering, so yeah, people need to do research, compare cost of living, actual cost of living,
Mhm.
between where they're coming from and where they're going to check what really, whatever savings or additional money is required. Let's go
Mhm.
to culture.
Mhm. Mhm.
How different is
Mhm.
the work culture in Dubai from,
Mhm.
say, the work culture in UK or in Europe? And what helps people like fit in?
Mhm. Yeah, so something to consider is that Dubai is a melting pot. You have to consider that almost 88% of the people that are working here are expats. So the cultural diversity is huge. So success here requires adaptability, being very open-minded, and also having a strong cultural awareness. So yeah, if you are the type of person that is used to work with the same nationality or just speaking your native language and you don't have that much diversity in your existing company, this might require some time to adapt. For me, it works amazingly because I really love it and I think it's very enriching. But of course, it requires some adaptation to other ways of working. Also, something to consider is that most roles are hybrid or on-site. There's not much remote culture or 100% work from home culture yet. So yeah, something to keep in mind depending on your preferences. Um, Workplaces as well tend to be a little bit more hierarchical. Most of the countries in Europe is kind of like decisions are very consensus driven. There's like flat hierarchies. Here is kind of a little bit leadership direction carries strong weight, and decisions
Mm,
often flow from top to bottom. So because of these hierarchies on professionals, they avoid thinking outside of the box or questioning decisions. So I think this is a good opportunity as well to stand out and just position yourself as a partner for the business and be confident about your expertise. You are hired to have an opinion, and of course, doing it tactfully. But yeah, on the same note, I will also suggest to don't rush to fix things or improve existing processes based on your previous European ways of working. Observe first, adapt, and then contribute.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the key
Okay.
message is just to be
Yeah.
adaptable and observant and just then bring your ownership mindset and add value.
Mm, mm. I hear you. I hear you. And it does sound like, yeah, observe, really understand before
Mhm.
we jump in. We have a couple of questions. So, one question, Angela, from your experience, um, in executive search, what differentiates candidates who successfully transition internationally, especially those relocating from outside the GCC? What differentiates them from equally qualified professionals who don't get shortlisted?
Mhm. I mean, I think that the main difference with executive roles is that, of course, at that level, first of all, there are not as many positions available, just because C-level roles are not announced everywhere, right? And it's also like very network and relationship driven. So if you are looking for an executive role here, I would double down on the networking part, start reaching out to people on LinkedIn at your same level in your target companies. So let's say you create your list of target companies, you start reaching out to other C-level executives and try to slowly move your way there. You can, of course, check the main recruitment agencies in the UAE, see if they are working with any C-level executive roles. And if you see any vacancy posted in their website, just reach out, being like very specific about what is the value that you can add as a C-level executive. Also, depending on that, being a C-level executive and not having any C kind of experience in the region, it might be a little bit difficult to break into that, just because it requires like a more strategic vision and so on. And without having worked with this context, it is just kind of like an extra roadblock that you will need to consider. It's not of course not impossible, like there are still like a lot of executives that move here, but it will require some time, more
Mm,
than mid level or IC level role.
mm. So, what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is these roles, executive roles, are fewer.
Mhm,
Your networking is really the
mhm,
differentiator, right?
mhm.
Your networking is what gets you into those conversations, essentially. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, this will give you massive leverage. Of course, I cannot speak with every single company out there, but what I have seen from my experience is that yes, C-level roles, of course, requires like more network connection and ideally being here on ground already.
Ideally being there on ground. Okay, all right. Now, I want to ask you a bit more. Let's talk about where, because the thing is, a lot of people are asking, where can I find the jobs? So, I mean, earlier you had already said, oh, it's saturated. But for instance, I can tell you that from the UK, things are tough here too, right? But when I look at the market and I take particular sectors, I can tell you, oh, these roles are in demand, these
Mhm,
ones not so much. If I give an example, say in tech, generalist roles are a bit tougher to land right now. But
mhm.
specialist roles, those requiring AI, quantum, there's special areas where there's. Can you, just from where you're sitting, are you able to give us an idea what types of talent are scarce? Where might the opportunities be?
Yeah, I mean, some of the booming sectors now in the UAE are fintech, everything that has to do with financial services. Hospitality is a big one, tourism. The country is also doubling down on sustainability. So, of course, like such as those niche skill set, everything that has to do with AI, not only in the UK, but it's also seen here in the market. So it
Mm.
doesn't need to be like a super technical AI engineer role. Like even if you are working in other function, even if it's people, HR, but you are well versed towards AI tools, you can enable the systems to make teams work more efficiently with AI and so on. This technical skill is highly valued in the market as well.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Now, if I wanted to get a little more information, right, about maybe my specific direction or about the um Dubai market generally, where should I look?
Mhm. I mean, it's kind of like different research as well, in terms of, yeah, kind of checking like 2040 agenda, check your skills. I mean, what I would do recommend to see if your skill is in demand in the market is first do a research. Are there any, for example, competitors or partners of your previous or current companies in the UAE? are your skills in demand? Just go on LinkedIn or you go on Google, check what are the most common vacancies here in the UAE. Do they match with what you know, how to do, or with your job title? Which industries are booming? Do I have any experience in those industries or any transferable skills? So yeah, I would just first, before jumping into just applying and seeing no results, first understanding if your skills are in demand in the market. Just to give you an example, I worked with one of the persons that was looking to relocate in here. She was a chief of staff. So for example, chief of staff, there might be similar roles on ground, but that specific job title is not something very common here yet. It's very common in the UK, in the US, but if you check chief of staff roles or vacancies, you might not see a whole bunch here in the UAE. So it just also requires a little bit of research of understanding, okay, what are the job titles that really are kind of published here in the UAE, and kind of checking the scope of the role and what are the job titles here that are related to that. So yeah, it's just kind of like doing that research first before jumping into applying.
That's a very important insight. Double check what titles are relevant for the market. Okay, so my other question is just from a practical point of view now, right? If I wanted to move to the UAE, you've said research. What else? What's another practical action step that I can take?
Yeah, so moving back to this is because this is my one of my favorite advices of creating your list of target companies. Once you have created your 2030 list of target companies, start reaching out to people in those companies, but again, not in a transactional way. Be patient, and I would recommend reaching out to three types of people. One is potential peers in your target company. So let's say you're a product designer, you can reach out to other product designers working for your company to understand, like, okay, what tech stack do you use? How is the culture in the company? Or maybe hearing about their success stories, how they managed to get that role. Then I would suggest also networking with in-house recruiters of your target company. So let's say product designer, try to find a product recruiter and not maybe sales recruiter or technical. So just try to do your research, okay? And because at the end of the day, you have to make it easier for them to help you. So yeah, first peers, second in-house recruiters in your target companies, third your potential manager. So in the example of a product designer, you can reach out to the head of product design, director of product design, and just again, not with a target of help me find a role, but just long-term networking.
Okay, I hear you. We have one question from LinkedIn. It says, how important is it to tailor your resume to be GCC specific? If so, any tips for doing so? For instance, formatting or keywords or profile picture. What kind of resume or CV works and lands in the GCC market?
That's an excellent question. I would say keep it simple, keep it short, ideally 2 pages maximum. Make it simple and straight to the point, like bullet points, very kind of accomplishment driven and data driven approach. This will really help you stand out, because most of the people here, they just mention job responsibilities. So make sure that you show your accomplishments. Have you saved money to your company? Have you improved any processes, and how did you measure that? Photo is not required, and I would personally don't suggest putting photo unless you're applying for any jobs where the image is required or a requirement, right? And then again, like making it crystal clear that you're open to relocating to Dubai on a very short notice, and highlighting all your, if you have any kind of experience in the Gulf region with clients, or kind of cultural awareness, if you speak Arabic, just ensure that you mention that in your resume. But basically, just be clear and straight to the point. Recruiters here are super swamped. They receive thousands of applications for every job that they post. So just ensure that you personalize your resume as well to the specific role that you are applying for. Putting the keywords of that specific job you're applying for into your own resume, and so on. So basically, it's your sales document. You are kind of the product and the solution to the business problem that they are having. So ensure that you highlight that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. I know that we've just we've walked through quite a few questions. I know people might have more questions, right?
Mhm.
And if they do, how do they reach you?
Mhm. Sure, of course. So they can reach me on LinkedIn. So DMs work just fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I've flashed Angela's LinkedIn URL right on screen. You can reach her there. Well, I'd like to thank you so much for coming and for answering our questions. If I do receive more, I will reach out, or, or I'm going to encourage people to still type in questions below the video, and we will pay attention to it and answer the questions. So if you're exploring Dubai, there you have it. Do your research first upfront, especially around what roles are in demand, as well as what the actual cost of living might be. LinkedIn is a very viable place to network and to land roles through. So pay attention to that. And I think the biggest tip is watch this video again. You get loads. Angela has been really generous, with giving us inside information. Thank you very much. All right, I'll be back in a couple of weeks with another topic and another guest. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to get more details of further episodes, my name is Ladijia. Follow me on LinkedIn and look out for the event announcements. Thank you so much, Angela, and see you next time.
My
Bye.
pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Yeah.